And welcome to the highly anticipated Monday Night Wars edition of Cornette's Commentary right here on Who's Slamming Who for the first official 2010 Cornette's Commentary podcast. This is Tommy Fierro along with Mr. James E. Cornette. Jimmy, what's going on, man?
Oh, Tommy, I tell you, last night after 2 Papa Murphy's stuffed pizzas and 4 pounds of chicken wings is the only way I got through that. 5 hours. 3 hours of Impact, 2 hours of Raw, 5 hours of my life that I'll never get back again. But it was fun because the one thing about Vince Russo and Hulk Hogan, they never disappoint me. I was going into it hoping it would be a bad show because I wanted to prove the point that they can't grab their ass with both hands, but they far and away exceeded my every expectation. And I think in 5 years, people will be looking back on January 4th, 2010 as the night that the wrestling business finally fell in the toilet and led the way to a change that will be meaningful. Because if anybody wants to buy a ticket to anything that the TNA or WWE does ever again after seeing 5 hours of a bunch of old gray-haired guys yelling at each other about shit that took place 15 years ago, I'm gobsmacked. I thought that if you look up the phrase buyer's remorse in the dictionary, there's a picture of Dixie Carter right now today. Even she, with her limited knowledge of anything related to professional wrestling, had to realize that they were dropping a turd on a plate in the middle of all those people. When you get the people chanting bullshit to the point where that the audio has to be muted on the 7-second delay on a live program 10 minutes into the biggest show that you've allegedly ever done, you know that you have talent to fuck up on a spectacular scale.
Let's start off with the beginning of Impact last night. They started off with that steel cage asylum match with the X Division guys. Obviously fell flat live, and Homicide couldn't make it out of the cage for about, it seemed like an hour.
I mean, that was the least of their problems, because let's go back to what the boys couldn't control. Let's go back to the finish. Let's go back to the booking of the match. You know, I felt bad for Homicide because I didn't want to see the boys look bad, just the promotion. But, okay, now, number one, on the biggest show they've ever done, the night that everything is supposed to change, how do they start the show? With more of the same shit that they've done on every fucking show. 8 guys in a fucking gimmicked-up cage match, taking bumps, doing spots for no reason where nobody gets over. It's hard to watch on television. And then you give them a shitty finish of a no contest in an 8-man wild anything-goes cage match, so they're chanting bullshit, bullshit. Then the guy's so blowed up, and he's trying to climb upside down. I don't see how anybody does it to begin with, and can't get out of the cage. And then let's just all start fighting again because we don't know what the fuck else to do. And, oh, by the way, here comes Jeff Hardy, the biggest superstar in wrestling of 2009. He's going to come out and climb the top of the cage. Well, at least he could climb it, but he was fresh. They set the table for Jeff Hardy's entrance into their promotion with the worst abortion that's ever been seen on live television. Then we go to the second segment. All night, it was either girls having bad wrestling matches or girls having matches that nobody cared about, or Matt Morgan and Hernandez. They're 2 major stars of the future. Get a match that lasts a total of, 35 seconds? Sure, they won it, but why were they, they couldn't be out there for 4 minutes and win a competitive match over 2 legitimate opponents? No, that would take time away from Knobs and Sags' pre-tapes. Then here comes the old guy. Say hello to the old guy. And Waltman, for fuck's sake, he's young, but he looks old because of he's the company he's in. And it was almost like Hulk Hogan was saying, fuck all you people on the internet who said I couldn't get all my friends a job. The Australia tour sucked. I promised them bookings, so they're coming in here. Who cares if they're 50? It was a joke from Hogan and Bischoff. When they're in the ring doing that interview together, they looked like 2 minor celebrities doing a fundraising telethon for a hurricane benefit and stretching to fill time till they go to the next package, trying to make the phones ring. I expected Hulk Hogan to say, and George Bush doesn't care about black people. If you go back and look at the desperation on Bischoff's face when he said, and it's going to be great, he was trying to talk himself into it. I think they got there, and they saw what they were dealing with, and they realized, oh, fuck, we've made a mistake too. Thank God we got all their money. Then the way that the show was shot, yes, they take television in a little small, insignificant soundstage in an amusement park. So what do? You show everybody that with every backstage clip of these stars coming up in limousines, pulling up in front of the picnic table and the fucking snack machine. That, to me, says Oscar red carpet all over the place. Then, oh, wait a minute, beer money. The Motor City Machine Guns, Sabin and Shelley, Rhino. They spent the entire show groveling, laying on their faces, being beat up by unseen opponents, while a corny, bad DJ, Bubba the Love Sponge, squats over him saying, these men have obviously been beaten up, and I think I know who did it. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm not going to call them for it. You guys just stay there. You'll be all right. How fake and phony and contrived. I saw more bad acting from both shows last night than I've seen in a year of high school plays. On every level, there was no statement made. There was no change. There was no new talent exposed. There was plenty of old talent exposed, but no new talent exposed in any meaningful way. There was nothing different except a bunch of old guys who have been out of the business for 10 years saying, we're going to do it again. Fuck! Are they insane? Why does it? The old man ought to have come in and hit the ring. Bob Carter with a baseball bat. I would have paid to see that. This is what you're doing with my $30 million fucking dollars? As he cleans the whole place out. What the fuck? Can anybody tell me that that was a way to make a statement about a new, exciting, cutting-edge wrestling promotion? We're making a change? They're making a change, all right. They're changing their Depends over to diapers.
Honestly, the biggest slap to WWE's face last night, as far as TNA goes, was getting Jeff Hardy on the show, which I think was a big surprise and a hats off to TNA. However, they dropped the ball huge on Jeff Hardy last night. Before we came on the air, I was saying I think the way they should have did it, we should have had Hogan come out and said, I told you I'm going to change TNA, and I signed the hottest free agent in wrestling, Jeff Hardy. What's your take on how they debuted Jeff Hardy last night?
It sucked. It fucking sucked. Can I scream this any louder? It's not sour grapes. It is not wanting the company to fail, although I do, because they're idiots. How they had months to think of something to do, and that's the best they could come up with. And then Russo, he has to get involved in it. He's even got a false book, a barbed wire massacre, and a steel metal mayhem match that's not even going to happen just to advertise. Oh, people are going to tune out if I don't advertise a barbed wire match. My God. Kurt Angle and AJ Styles in the middle of that fucking fiasco was like seeing a shining diamond stuck up a cow pie. But that won't get it. I mean, if anybody has stayed tuned until Kurt Angle and AJ Styles got in the ring, which I have to think only the masochists and those of us who actually were watching to see disaster could have possibly stayed tuned that long, they saw a great match. And what did it mean? Because as soon as they had the match, they cut to Hulk Hogan saying, hey, you guys are great, like he's putting his stamp of approval on it. Then he gets his ear whispered in, oh, shit, got to run. Mick Foley, what the fuck? Here's Mick Foley is now being beaten up by Hall and Nash and fucking Waltman. Hogan runs in. Well, whose side is he on? Who gives a shit? And then with Hogan and Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett comes out and cuts actually a heartfelt promo. And believe me, I'm no fan of Jeff Jarrett these days because he's the one that made me have to sit in the same building with Vince Russo for 3 years, so I'm not real happy with Jeffrey. But he cuts a heartfelt promo that gets over as a babyface, and I don't know how they thought it was going to get over any other way. And then Hogan comes out and tries to be a babyface and turns heel by saying babyface shit to the heel, I guess, in the ring that just talked like a babyface. Where the fuck are we? Explain this shit to me. Do I need to take notes? I recorded the thing. Do I need to go back and frame by frame it to understand the oh, by the way, Hogan's Motorcade. The show comes on at 8 o'clock Eastern, and the guy that's now the new business partner running things ain't even there yet. But once he gets in the ring, and by the way, they were just circling around the soundstage because I know where all those roads are, and he could have been there in 2 minutes. It took him 15. He gets in the ring and says, I've been in the back all day talking to the guys. No, you haven't. You just got out of your limousine. We saw the police escort. You fucking idiots. Can you not keep track of your own shit that you write? Fuck all of you. I hope you fucking die. You're killing the fucking wrestling business. The more I think about the stupidity and lack of logic and old talent once again being forced like fucking feces down people's throats, and the new guys being shit on, literally. Bubba the Love Sponge was squatting down over beer money. It looked like he was taking a shit on him. He might as well have pissed in their mouth while they were down there. Kill the fucking guys. Why don't Chris Daniels gets an interview and gets 3 words out and gets interrupted by Jeremy Borash on the phone with Mick Foley, who's the only guy who can't break through security. Nobody else had any problem. What the fuck? It was bad acting, bad execution, bad pre-planning, bad.